Ollie,
Yes.
Michael Jordan said, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. How do you feel about sport?
Depends what the sport is. Now, Michael Jordan is a basketball player. I know that because I've played Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. And also he was in Space Jam.
Space Jam being.
You know, that thing with Bugs Bunny, who may I add is evil.
How is Bugs Bunny evil, Ollie? You care to.
Haven't you heard Bugs Bunny? Haven't you heard what he says?
What does Bugs Bunny say,
He
Ollie?
goes, "Nyeh, nyeh, what's up, Doc? Nyeh, I'm gonna kill your family, Doc." Don't you hear that? And Michael Jordan's like, "Yo, Bugs, I'm gonna shoot some hoops."
That's obviously not. It's slightly racist.
No, well, hey, just because he's black and he plays basketball.
No, it was the yo dog. Want to shoot
Well,
some hoops.
that's not. I'm not being racist. All basketball players say that.
So, Ollie, so you're saying you don't mind basketball then?
Well, I don't know. After playing Shark Fu, it's kind of destroyed any image of basketball.
Well, to be fair, that was a game about fighting. Who were the bad guys in it?
I don't even want to remember.
Yeah, he wasn't shooting any hoops in it, so I think you're. So I think basketball gets a pass.
Well, it was still terrible.
That's the point. What about okay? What about football?
Football's alright, if there are special moves.
So you tell me you have a problem with the FA Cup?
I've got to say, as you know, exciting as Burnley versus Leeds is, Mario football is probably better.
Well, I want to get on to your favourite sport, the one you go on to me constantly about how brilliant it is, and I believe its name is rugby. Ollie, can you give...
Sam,
Yes?
that's out of context. Rugby isn't a sport.
Can you give everyone a description of why rugby isn't a sport?
It's
Is
vile.
it because of it so much?
It's terrible. Rugby is the root of all evil.
How is rugby the root of all sin?
Haven't you seen a rugby match? Haven't you watched those bulky, mindless men from the north of England ram into each other and roll around in the mud because they just want to grasp on each other's egg? And then they kick it into a giant H.
So are you telling me you wouldn't describe it as the beautiful game, quote unquote?
Well, not really, considering most of the people who play it either look like they're related to Shrek somehow, or are confined to skull caps because they have cauliflowers on their ear.
Ollie, if you had to address the rugby players, they look up to you. They inspire you. They think you're their hero, their legend, and you have to give a speech to them to motivate them. What would you say?
Kill yourself.
Okay, longer than that.
You play rugby, you're terrible. Kill yourself.
What is it about rugby that what made you feel this way, Ollie?
See, when I try and convince people about the sins and terror of rugby, most of them instantly jump to the conclusion, you just don't like it because you're bad at it. But you see, the fact that I'm bad at it is simply me sparing myself from the terror of rugby. Have you not been in a rugby match? I know for a fact you have. I'm right, aren't I? We're forced to play it in schools. But
Forced?
Yes, forced. That's what the teachers say. They say, oh, put on your tightly fitting costume and get ready to get hit in the face with a rugby ball and thrown onto the ground by popular sport fags who have girlfriends and play sport and stuff. And are just generally terrible people.
So, wait, what was your description of the, quote, sport fags?
Sport fags are terrible people because they are obsessed with sport and they're horrible to nerds like me. yet they still manage to become uber popular and cool because they go to the gym and burn up some carbs.
Ollie, I'm sure you could burn up some carbs if you wanted to.
I could, but I have a gas cooker and I have no idea how to use it. I mean, I could try, but I just don't want to risk it. It'll probably explode, killing everybody. The irony is that the only sport establishment that would be destroyed in the process is a golf club, and I like golf.
So, if rugby's on the hate list, what would you actually say is on your like list, your favourite sport?
Now, I'll tell you a good sport. Just
Does it begin
picture
with C?
this. Just picture it, Sam.
Yes.
The action-packed moment where the marble hits the ice. The friction and excitement
ice hockey.
of the marble sliding towards its target. The tension and the tremor of the two sweepers as they brush the ice, smoothing it out, or not smoothing out, whatever it does. This great sport is curling.
Is it true that you tried to get a school team for curling?
Yes, that is true. Because I knew a guy once who had a lunchbox that looked like one of those curling marbles. So we considered starting a curling team, but it didn't work because the ground was not smooth or ice.
So, why is curling such a brilliant sport?
Have you never witnessed a curling match live on TV?
No, nobody has.
Yes, I'm sure lots of people have seen curling. I'm sure I'm not the only person.
When was curling on TV?
Have you never seen the Winter Olympics?
Okay, bar the Winter Olympics.
Don't you watch the International Curling Championships?
Do you?
No, I'll be honest, I actually don't. But
So you're saying curling really is the beautiful game?
yes, definitely.
What? How long have you been into curling, Ollie?
Since I first saw the Winter Olympics.
And what icons have appeared out of curling?
There are lots of curling icons.
Care to name a few?
Yes, I will. If you just give me a
Obvious.
minute to recollect my curling knowledge.
Okay, Ollie, let's move on.
Yes. Yes, let's do that.
Ollie, what other sports would you describe as amazing?
Golf's good, because I got a hole in one.
Did you really?
I actually did, yeah. That's probably my greatest sporting achievement. That and getting out of bed every morning.
So what about golf just stimulates you, Ollie?
I just like it. It's quite relaxing. You know, you get to... I mean, you can play golf at your own pace. It's more strategic than just ramming into each other to grab the ball and kind of throwing each other into the mud. If it's raining, you just don't go out, or because you're probably rich if you're playing golf, someone holds an umbrella over you.
Well, what do you mean there's no strategy or tactics in rugby?
Well, the tactic, I mean, think of the concept. The concept of a scrum is basically headbutt each other until one person gives up.
Okay,
now, if you want to, I mean, if you're into that kind of violent sport, that horrific, murderous death camp sport, then golf's perfect for you because you can smash up your wife's car, or vice versa. Your wife can smash up your car, and you can still play golf.
Well, I was going to mention if you feel like you would be the next Tiger Woods, but your wife isn't nearly Swedish enough, and...
Or a non-existent.
Okay, that as well.
Also, I don't have a car, although that could probably be arranged because you probably win quite good prize money for playing golf, but the only thing you win in rugby is a golden, smaller version of the egg on a stick.
Ollie, where does this deep-seated hatred of rugby come from? Because it's quite dark.
Well, it all started long ago when I had to play rugby.
When was this?
Must have been year 7. I had to play rugby and I was in a group with a load of, well, it was kind of, half of it was sport fags and the other half were people who were either like me and didn't want to be doing sport or were too fat to play proper sport. And I had to play rugby, you know, I was forced to. I didn't actually have a chance to say no. And I remember this one time the teacher said to me, "Oh, here, Ollie, you catch this ball and then this person who's clearly more active than you will tackle you to the ground and leave you in agonising pain." And I was thinking to myself, why are we doing this? How is this going to improve me as a person when I could be in the warm doing something like science? And he threw the ball at me and it hit me in the face. I fell onto the floor and my glasses were somewhere, I don't know, they just fell off. And I was lying there and the teacher said to me, "Get up, Ollie, get the ball." And I'm just there thinking to myself, I've just been hit in the face and you want me to get up and play rugby. And I said, well, I didn't say because I was lying on the floor, but I thought to myself, no, you can kiss my non-existent stupid egg thing. I'm not playing your rugby. And then over the years of having to play rugby, I witnessed the violent atrocities, found out the fact that I can't jump on somebody when they try and tackle me. And
you tell me that rugby is Tiananmen Square?
Well, no, because Tiananmen Square is better than rugby. Minus the tank thing and the gunning down of innocent civilians. Although rugby is pretty similar.
So basically bar all the things that made Tiananmen Square popular.
I don't think popular is the right way to describe
popular,
Tiananmen
but you know what
Square.
I mean.
I just want to point something out, which is this is the second time in these recordings that we've ended up turning to communist politics.
Well, that's because everything with you relates to communist politics.
That's not
I mean,
true.
let's just not mention North Korea, because we know what's going to happen then.
No, well, see, North Korea, they don't have a rugby team. I'm pretty sure they don't have a rugby team. I hope they don't have a rugby team. I'm going to look that up now.
Kim Jong-un does play basketball.
Yeah, but that's different, because Kim Jong-un can do everything.
So you're saying he's most honourable leader?
Yes. Yes, he is. Especially because of his views on sport. Yeah, see, you can... there is virtually no rugby in North Korea.
Virtually?
Yeah. See, here's I'm reading right now a Yahoo Answers where some idiot sport fag has said, "How come rugby union isn't popular in North Korea?" And they've answered the question, that another sport fag, by going on about someone called Kate and Jalen.
Wait, Kate and Jalen?
Yes.
Or Kate and Jalen?
Kate and Jalen.
Okay. Ollie.
Yes.
I feel like we slightly deterred the point and gone on to communist politics.
Communist politics is more interesting than rugby. Trust me.
So if you had anything you could say to the head of rugby, or just, well, actually no, the people in charge of keeping rugby as a very popular national sport, what would you say to them? Actually, no, the people who keep it popular worldwide, what would you say to them?
I would kill them, take their place, and then I would slowly ban everything that makes rugby, starting with the egg and tackling, and then I'd ban the H, and then I'd ban the mud, which is the principle of rugby. And then there would be no rugby, and then I'd be able to sit back and watch as curling fills the school curriculum.
You realize my question was, what would you say to them?
Well, I did say what I'd say to them. I'd kill them. That counts.
Well,
After all...
You're telling them you'd kill them?
After all, these people are in charge of rugby. They can't be that intelligent.
Clearly, Ollie, clearly.
Well, this is rugby we're talking about.
So, Ollie, if you had to, we have around 4-5 sports a year we have to do in school over the changing seasons. What would you change the sports to be? For, let's say, four sports you can put in.
The 4 sports I would put into the curriculum.
Change from the usual rugby, football, hockey, and what do you say the other one is?
Probably gymnastics or something, isn't it?
Yeah, something along those lines, yeah.
Alright, there's 4 sports that need to be put into the curriculum are curling, because it's awesome. Darts, because, you know, it's quite active, it keeps you fit, and it has a high competitive fan base, and it gives you an excuse to let your parents get sponsors tattooed onto your arm. Yes, thanks, Mum. Something about fat men drinking beer. I'll have you know, darts is a dignified sport.
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's
it
never
is.
been
Just
a
because the people who play it all have fat arms.
They have fat bellies too.
No, that's only the ones you see on the TV. It's people trying to paint darts even in a bad light. It's because they're probably rugby fans. And they thought, oh, I'll do darts on the side just to kind of damage the image and create a totalitarian rugby oppressive state.
You're telling me they're incredibly dumb, yet understand the concepts of totalitarianism.
It's because they're rugby spies. They actually belong to the government of Myanmar, which is the first country that came into my head. And they are infiltrating our nation to try and spread the hatred and lies of rugby. Actually, if anything, they're going to be from somewhere like New Zealand or Australia. See, Australia just... Why would you play rugby when you could go out and fight kangaroos?
Because kangaroos will disembowel you in a single move.
So does rugby, depending on your popularity.
Oh. Lord. Okay. Number 2.
Well, that was number 2, darts. Number 3.
Okay, number 3.
It would have to probably be snooker / pool / billiards.
Why snooker / pool / billiards?
Well, look at it this way. It appeals to everyone. It's not outdoors, so it appeals to the nerdy types like me. The fat types might have a hard time because if their arms are too fat, they won't be able to lean on the table without splitting it in half. But and the popular types will like it because they get chalked up like they do in their spare time, as well as poking things with a stick. You know, being on cue.
Oh.
They get to poke their balls into a hole.
Saucy.
Well, it's not really because it's pool. It's mostly played by these weird lanky Irish men, but...
That's true. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, how would you rate these... Actually, wait, no, you still got...
You haven't said my 4th sport.
Number 4, let's get number 4.
Now, I mean, my 4 sports, as action-packed as they are, I need something that really involves moving. You know, something that's going to really make people get up and stop being obese. And that sport is bobsled. Because...
Where the hell can we get bobsledding in
Because, right, listen to this. The reason people will stop being obese is so they can fit into the bobsled with 3 other men.
Okay.
So they will be invigorated to lose weight, and it will help our country's economy by selling more vegetables.
Okay, but how... wait, so you're saying they will lose weight exclusively from eating vegetables?
No, they'll do exercises like darts, curling, and pool in order to get slim enough to fit into a bobsled.
They're all quite still
sports.
Well,
if they have fat arms, at least they'll be able to trim them down.
Yeah, but what about the bellies?
Yeah, but that's not important.
Curling is important.
Alternatively, it will drive you to murder the other members of your bobsled team because they're so fat you can't fit into the bobsled. And then you just have to pray they're replaced by thin people and keep killing people off until they're replaced by 4 men who are from the same Scandinavian nationality and can all fit into the bobsled.
Ollie, how would you rate these sports in terms of importance then?
Well...
1 being the most important the important sport for our schools, and number 4 being, well, you know, we can possibly go something.
I would probably say bobsled, because weight loss. Curling, because it's so action-packed. Get our kids up and out and, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then I'd say darts, because you gotta get fat arms, so you have a reason to be killed to help other people lose weight to go in the bobsled. So
you're putting social Darwinism in bobsledding.
Yes. And also, and then I'd say pool is the least important because it's basically just a load of innuendos and Irish people.
Okay, my slight problem with this list, Ollie. Bobsleighing. How are we going to get that? Where can you put this in the school?
It's easy, right? What happens is the British government kidnap Arnold Schwarzenegger. right?
I don't like the sound of
And
this
then they
already.
say to him, Arnie, you have to be Mr. Freeze from the terrible Batman and Robin. And he'll say, "Nice to meet you," or whatever he says. And then they can get him to freeze the ground so that we can do these sports.
Chill out, Ollie. That's a bit crazy.
Hey, just cool off. Don't get me worked up. That's not a very ice thing to do.
Oh. Okay.
These snow puns are dragging out like Snowbody's business.
Oh god, I've got Shrek puns in my head now. I'll get over it.
Yeah, don't get ogre excited.
Oh, nobody will get this. Anyway.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Just saying. Apart
Don't
from
ever
the
go
rugby
on
players
Shrek
who look
gang.
like Shrek.
Okay, Ollie.
Yes.
Thank you for educating me and the masses about sport and such things.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening to mine and, well, the sports genius that is Oliver Jameson. Any last words, Ollie?
Death to rugby.
And thank you all for listening. Goodbye.